What do you do when your most experienced player becomes your biggest problem? United answered that question this week, and the answer sent shockwaves through world football, because Casemiro isn't just leaving Old Trafford, he's leaving European football altogether. And the man they want to replace him has a story that will genuinely make your jaw drop. And here's the thing that should scare every United fan watching this right now. United's plan to replace him is either genius or a complete disaster waiting to happen. This transfer window is already unhinged, and it's only just getting started. This is the Red Break. Let's break it all down. Now, before we get into the replacements, and trust me, the names involved will genuinely surprise you, we need to understand something first. Why does losing Casemiro matter so much? Because for all the criticism, all the jokes, all the he's finished takes from football Twitter, Casemiro was still the only midfielder at this club who played like he understood what a midfield battle actually felt like. You take him out and suddenly United's engine room looks exposed, like dangerously exposed. And United know it, which is why what they're planning next is either the boldest rebuild in recent memory or a sign that this club is still operating in a fantasy world. We're about to break down everything. The Casemiro exit, the replacement targets, the wild cards, the drama. Stay with me. Casemiro arrived at Manchester United in 2022 as a serial winner from Real Madrid. 5 Champions Leagues, elite mentality, a midfielder built to win. And in his first season, he was brilliant. Big goals, leadership, control in midfield. For a moment, it genuinely felt like United were finally moving forward again. But football changes fast. As the team around him declined, injuries grew, and the Premier League became more intense, Casemiro started struggling physically. And under Ruben Amorim's high-energy system, it became clear he no longer fit the future of the club. Not because he was a bad player, but because the game and United's rebuild had moved on without him. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because the question was never really if Casemiro would leave. The question was where. Saudi Arabia came calling. Turkish clubs were sniffing around. Rumours of a return to Brazil. But nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this one coming. Inter Miami, the MLS club, the Messi club, the Beckham club. Casemiro, the destroyer, the enforcer, the Champions League warrior, heading to Florida. And look, before the jokes start, Casemiro has verbally agreed to this move. This isn't speculation. This isn't a leak from some random account. Reports confirm the deal is closing. So what does this actually mean for United? It means the rebuild starts now. Right, so United need a midfielder, a proper midfielder, athletic, modern, capable of operating in Carrick's system. And there are many names at the top of their list. Sandro Tonali. Now, if that name makes you raise an eyebrow, I understand, because Tonali's last 12 months have been complicated. But let's rewind, because this story is wild. Sandro Tonali was supposed to be the next great Italian midfielder, and for a while, he absolutely was. At AC Milan, he was immense. The engine, the heartbeat, the guy who made everything tick. Milan fans loved him. He had this rare quality. He could defend and create. He could play simple and play ambitious. Newcastle spent around 70 million euros on him in 2023. At the time, one of the most exciting signings in Premier League history. A generational Italian midfielder in the Premier League at Newcastle. And then everything stopped. Tonali received a ban. A 10-month ban. Illegal betting. His own matches included. Football was stunned. The player himself broke down publicly, admitted the problem, sought help, apologised. For 10 months, complete silence. But then he came back. And here's the thing people keep forgetting. He came back good, like genuinely good. The hunger was there. The quality was there. Maybe even sharper than before, because now he had something to prove. And United have been watching closely. Now, why does Tonali make sense for Carrick's United? Think about it. Carrick's system needs midfielders who cover ground, who press, who carry the ball, who link the lines. Tonali ticks every single one of those boxes. He's got Champions League experience. He's got elite club football in his DNA. And crucially, after the betting ban, his value is still relatively manageable compared to what it would have been before. For United, that's a window, a genuine window to sign a player who, at full fitness and full confidence, could be one of the best midfielders in world football. But here's the open question. Would Newcastle sell? Because why would Newcastle let one of their best players go to a direct Premier League rival? Unless the fee is so big, they simply can't say no. And would Tonali even want United over other options? These are the questions that don't have clean answers yet. But what we know is this: United want him. And when this club decides it wants someone, usually something happens. Tonali is option one, but option two is Carlos Baleba, 22 years old, Cameroonian, plays for Brighton. And if you've been watching the Premier League closely this season, you already know this kid is different. Baleba is everything you want in a modern defensive midfielder. Athleticism that's almost unfair. Press resistance that makes experienced players look stupid. An engine that just doesn't stop. And at 22, he's still scratching the surface of what he could become. United have been watching him for multiple windows now. This isn't new interest. This is sustained, serious interest. Personal terms were apparently discussed previously. So this is a player who, at some level, has already been in conversations about a United move. So what's the problem? It's Brighton. Because Brighton don't sell cheap. They never have, and they're not about to start. Their valuation of Baleba? Eye-wateringly high for a player whose form, if we're honest, has been inconsistent. And that inconsistency, that's the real debate. Because when Baleba is good, he is really good. But there are stretches where he disappears from games, where his decision-making breaks down, where you think, is this Premier League level? United are aware of this. Which is why, according to reports, they're now exploring other options alongside Baleba, not instead of him. They haven't walked away. But they're not putting all their eggs in one basket either. And honestly, that's probably the smartest thing United have done in a transfer window in years. But here's the thing about Baleba that makes this complicated. He won't be available forever. Clubs across Europe are watching the exact same tapes. If United delay too long, if they get lost in negotiations with Brighton, someone else walks in and takes him. And then what? Then United are scrambling again, back to square one. Summer half gone, midfield still broken. This is the tightrope United's recruitment team is walking right now. All right, midfield covered. But United's business doesn't stop there, because there are two more names circling Old Trafford right now. And both of them tell you something important about where United want to go under Carrick. First, Jarrod Bowen, England international, West Ham captain, a player who's been one of the most consistent attackers in the Premier League for the last 3 seasons. Goals, assists, directness, work rate, everything a modern wide attacker needs. And the most important thing, he's proven at this level. Not a project, not a gamble, a player who arrives and you know what you're getting. Now, Bowen is 28. Some would argue that's not the profile United should be targeting. They should be building younger, they say. But here's the counter-argument. When you're in a rebuild, and United absolutely are in a rebuild, you need players who can perform now. Not in 2 years, now. And Bowen is that player. The interest is real. The question is whether West Ham will let him go and at what price. Watch this space, because this one could move fast. And then there's the second name, Matheus Fernandes. If Bowen is the safe option, Fernandes is the exciting one. 21 years old, Portuguese, and if you haven't watched this kid play yet, you're missing something special. Fernandes is technical, creative, fearless in tight spaces, the kind of player who makes you lean forward on your sofa, who does things that make you think, how did he even see that? And United scouts have been all over him. Now, is he ready for the demands of Old Trafford? That's the honest question. 21 years old. His only Premier League experience has come at a relegation club. The step up would be enormous. But then again, Carrick has shown a willingness to trust young players who fit his system. And Fernandes fits that system almost perfectly. He could be a real steal if United move early. The kind of signing that looks obvious in hindsight, but only a few clubs are brave enough to make it at the time. United might just be one of them. Right, let's take a breath, because individually, each of these stories is interesting. But together, they tell you something much bigger about Manchester United right now. This isn't just a transfer window. This is a complete identity reset. Think about it. Casemiro, gone. The last link to the old guard, the proven winners brought in to paper over the cracks. And in their place, Tonali, Baleba, Bowen, Fernandes. Players who fit a new system, a new philosophy. This is what a proper rebuild actually looks like. Not just new names on shirts, new DNA. And it's uncomfortable, because rebuilds are always uncomfortable. There will be a period, maybe next season, maybe the one after, where United don't look like a finished product, where the system is still clicking into place, where results are frustrating and the criticism is loud. But here's the thing. The destination matters more than the journey. If Carrick gets 12 to 18 months with the right players, United could look genuinely frightening. Not a team patched together from expensive mistakes, a real team, built with intention. And maybe, just maybe, that's what this club has been missing for over a decade. So let's bring this together. Casemiro is gone, Inter Miami bound, end of an era. United want Tonali, a banned, brilliant and hungry midfielder who could transform their engine room. They're tracking Baleba, but Brighton are making it painful. Bowen could bring experience and goals when United need it most. And Fernandes might just be the most exciting long-term bet of the lot. This is Manchester United in the summer of 2025. Is chaotic? Yes. Is exciting? Actually, for the first time in a while, yeah. Because for all the noise, for all the drama, for all the names flying around, underneath it all, there's a manager with a plan. And a club finally willing to let him execute it. Whether that's enough, that's the question only time can answer. But what do you think? Is Tonali the right man to replace Casemiro? Do United need to go bigger or smarter? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video hit different, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.